This is a story about human endeavor, songcraft, the act of doing. When ideas strike, inspiration hits, and things seem to fall into place, seemingly from out of nowhere. My name is Kevin. I'm a recording mix engineer and producer. I just wanted to preserve something that's authentic in the act of doing and creating, and my subject is music. In this episode, I'm going to introduce you to an artist named Joliet4. Joliet4 is a Kansas City artist, singer, songwriter, performer, and music Twitch streamer, and one of my favorite people on the planet. Being one of the most talented singers that I've ever met, with a vocal ability that can easily rival some of the more prolific pop singers out there, I have found somewhat of a purpose to help you discover her and all the other talented people I come across on this journey. Today, we're going to talk about the song that started the whole collaboration off. It's called Blame It on My Cold Dead Heart. It's a co-write between me and Joliet, and it also has a Halloween vibe. Just like any song out there, this one started with a sketch. And because Joliet is such a good songwriter, she was able to take what was in her head and transfer it into a YouTube video for me to watch on repeat so I could pick up all the cues that she was sending. Keep in mind that this was just going from her head to the piano to her voice in real time, which is incredibly inspiring for someone like me because I don't have the clutter of extra production to get in the way. It's kind of a blank slate. So here's the sketch. And here's that moment. The moment where I set up a sketch and come back and tell you my mind was blown. This was not one of those moments. But that is my job, to listen, to wait, to see what happens. And what happened next was she had vocal ideas.
You wake up eyes and I feel that high. Yeah, I can feel that roll. I'm biting tigers, you know I say. Oh, I believe in that door.
Okay, now we're warming up. I really like this. There's a vibe, there's a feeling. I think those are the same thing, but still, something's happening. It wasn't until the next part that I realized I could really do something with this, because I started feeling Moloko vibes.
I feel it like it don't. I feel it like it.
Putting Joliet's beatboxing skills aside, I really was understanding where she was coming from, but I couldn't shake the Moloko thing. For those of you unfamiliar with Moloko, Moloko is an English-Irish duo consisting of Roisin Murphy and Mark Bryden from the early 2000s. Underneath my voice, you can hear the track The Time Is Now. And based on that inspiration, you can kind of get a sense of the connections that my brain was making. Before we continue, I think it's about time that I actually introduce you to Joliet.
I'm Joliet4. I'm an independent singer-songwriter from Kansas City, Missouri. I write music, and I have awesome people like Kevin come in and help me make it better, make it sparkly. We write music together just from the ground up, which is super fun.
Just as Joliet said, we do make these tracks from the ground up.
I had been writing kind of darker music, mostly around things like narcissism and kind of healing from some narcissistic relationships in my life. So I don't know. I feel like kind of equating them to a monster is maybe a little too on the nose necessarily, and black and white and not enough nuance. However, it makes for a fun Halloween song. So I had a person just kind of turning me into a villain in their narrative. That's of course not fair, but I'll just flip the table, you know. You're a villain in my narrative now. And so that's kind of where this song was born. And just owning that, like, I guess I'm a monster, and the next time you get upset with me, I guess you'll just blame it on my cold dead heart.
Joliet already had a chorus in mind. In the demo example you're about to hear, Joliet already had lyrics in mind as well. And as we go forward, you'll clearly hear how this part stuck throughout the entire process from the sketch to production, mix, and finally mastering. And now here's the demo chorus she made.
You get me high, but keep me low when you only call cause you need something. Yeah, you need to fire then reload cause you only want someone. Yeah, you want someone to blame when you can blame it on my cold dead heart. My cold dead heart.
And now it's the actual time when I get to tell you that yes, my mind was blown at this point. The piano didn't matter. The rough, raw versions of it didn't matter. It was this authentic voice that I heard. It always strikes me as incredible to see somebody performing right in front of you, and it sounds like something unreal. But it was real, and I was inspired. So here's what I did next. I took Joliet's sketch, and I sent it through Isotope RX Music Rebalance. I needed a version of her vocals without the piano behind it. And RX Music Rebalance accomplishes this. It basically removes the instrumental music parts behind the vocals. And I was able to do this with it.
You wake up and I feel that high. Yeah, I can feel that moment. I'm about to die 'cause you know I said, oh, I've been feeling that moment.
My inspirations are running wild at this point, from 90s acts to 1960s single-note guitar with a spring reverb, but it all has that sort of spooky vibe. Joliet had that piano bass line. Remember this? So I wanted to take that and put it into a bass guitar because it was the foundation of that Halloween vibe we had going on. But I wasn't completely satisfied with this synth combo bass guitar sound, so I had to add layers to it. Now, obviously, that by itself is not very exciting, but what happens when we layer that on top of the synth that you just heard? That's kind of cool, but it's not exactly hitting the spooky vibe yet, so I think maybe some effects might help. So on that plucky bit, I wanted this to sparkle just a little bit, but I didn't want it to be too clean. So I went into my plugin library and pulled up what's called a spring reverb. And for those of you who don't know what a spring reverb is, it's a device in a large or small chamber with a spring physically attached to two ends, which gets an electrical signal from a transducer which vibrates the spring on either end and creates this sound. So when I put this onto the bass, this is what we get. That's starting to sound really cool, but I need it to be more snappy so that it can intermingle with the drums in a way where it's almost like a percussion instrument. To accomplish this, I'm going to use SPL's Transient Designer. What this does is makes the attack, or the first part of a sound, a little bit snappier. When you're listening to the next example, listen to the clicky sound of the guitar hitting the pick. Okay, that's sounding really cool. Only one more thing that I want to try before I mix it back together with the other layer. Next up, the Roland RE201 delay. I'm going to do the same thing as before where I clap my hands through the RE201. Now I'm going to mix them all together with all of the elements that you've just heard, and this is what we get. And now with the synth bass underneath that. Now I'm going to show you all of it mixed together and how it impressed Joliet.
You sent me your production under my little scratch vocal and scratch piano part, and it absolutely blew my mind. Immediately I thought, this is the guy for me. Like, this is absolutely going to be so much fun.
And that's what our sessions are almost every time, is fun.
A lot of the time I'll send Kevin my vocal or beatboxing or whatever, and he will play with harmonizing, like the chords underneath my voice.
And since I didn't have any direction and it was sort of free time for me, I just played jazzy chords underneath my production and her vocals, and this is what I came up with for the chorus, the part where she actually has lyrics instead of just gibberish.
You get me high, but keep me low when you only call 'cause you need something. Yeah, you need to fire and reload 'cause you only want someone. Yeah, you want someone to blame, when you can blame it on my cold heart. Blame it on my cold heart.
I think the reason we didn't end up with such reharmonizing, I think we did a little bit. We did a little bit of this in this song. Yeah, some of it made it to the final, but for the most part, I wanted that very clear-cut, standard sort of pop song progression.
I'm going to interrupt here a little bit. She's about to describe what a standard pop song progression is, but I wanted to give you a heads up just so you understood what she meant. So, in most pop songs, there are chord structures that are so widely used in repetitive ways that they've basically been assigned numbers. The first one would be number 1, 4, and then 5, and finally 6. Joliet picks back up where she left off.
A very typical, 1, 4, 5 minor 6 sort of jumble of pop chord progression. But sometimes Kevin plays with other stuff that's really fun.
Just a moment ago, Joliet mentioned that some of the work that I do with my jazzy chords made it into the final.
Some of it made it to the final.
Let me show you how my rejected chords ended up in the song, but in a different way for a different purpose. These chords actually ended up in the intro of the song. You'll hear this a little bit later in context with the vocals, but for now, let's move on.
You front load a lot of really amazing ideas. But that's what I love. You know what? If you didn't come in with that jazzy shit, I wouldn't know what's possible. And we wouldn't even have cool little moments like that. And I love it. And then it's like a candy store, and I get to pick what I want from these ideas that you give me.
With that said, let's move on to the production of this song.
This is a sprinkler in your mom's house, right? This is your mom's sprinkler system. It's a good sprinkler water in the graveyard. I cannot believe, first of all, that you use your own Foley. That's phenomenal. Thank God. How original. Who does this anymore? Where you actually go out and record stuff in the wild. And you have this like catalog of stuff that you pull from. And this was a sprinkler system you said from your mom's house. I think that's amazing. And it's in the song.
I couldn't think of a better way to introduce the sound effects section of this podcast. So Joliet's enthusiasm is a perfect segue.
That is your moonroof. Opening and closing. Amazing. Remember also we had done you had some big door. Where is that at in the song? Like it was in a cathedral or some church that you had walked into and it was an actual oak 100-year-old door. Love the way that sounds. That's real, you guys. That's not from someone's sound pack. That's because Kevin went somewhere and took his little recorder and amazing.
It's a very true fact. I always carry my little Zoom H1 recorder around with me. And that door was in the St. John's Chapel at the University of Cambridge, UK.
And then there's the chit, 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 psycho knife stabby sound that's very quintessential. You're about to get murdered in the shower.
This is all keeping with the Halloween theme, so we're really leaning into it. And we're drawing from old movies and old TV shows and a lot of Halloween tropes. Some are scary and some are cheeky, but they all kind of work together to create this mood.
That was fun to explore. Like, we're sitting on a Zoom call. We're just like exploring, like, where that would be perfect here. Where is that? Is that in a movie? Is that like just in any old 1970s horror film? And so we'll compile all these things to kind of build this gorgeous picture that's like a movie in your head.
In our conversation, Joliet had forgotten that she added some additions to the psycho strings.
What are my additions to the psycho bits? I forgot that I screamed. That made it to the final track, right?
It actually did make it to the final track. It was just layered on top of the strings, and it was a little quieter.
It's in there? Okay, that's amazing. That's so perfect.
One of the sounds in the song that I did not record was that of a heart monitor that I had somewhere buried in a sound effects library all the way back from 2012.
Well, I'm glad you don't have someone on life support to go record. You know, like that's okay. I'm okay with that. Yeah, it was really necessary, to be as melodramatic as possible. The name of this song is Blame It on My Cold Dead Heart. So I hope you know what you're getting into when you click play. But like that, we needed dramatic elements. We needed these sound effects to really paint this picture. And strings are that's horror. That's a horror movie sound. You've got to have strings, and they've got to be dissonant. They've got to sound like someone's trying to break the bow with the strings. You know what I'm saying? They need to be sliding awkwardly and irritatingly against one another in order to get you to feel that moment of tension.
In this song, there wasn't a huge call for strings. There's only two parts where the strings play a part. One of them is in a transition, and the other is sort of a punctuation.
I'll be honest with you, this is one of those tracks where I would just listen to it without any vocal, and you could probably sell this, and by putting my voice on it, it maybe ruins it.
6 feet under.
This track itself, and all of them that we've worked on together, are just so juicy and good.
Now that Joliet has downplayed the vocals, and that's out of the way, let's move to the vocals and the production.
Ooh, you get me high, but keep me low when you only call 'cause you want something. Oh yeah, you fire then reload 'cause I tell you no goodbye there. Well, you can blame it on my.
I have never had someone be able to like isolate my voice the way I want before, or at least it's taken quite a lot of work. But you just seem to walk in and understand from the get-go the vibe I wanted. I have a real hard time with this sort of typical overproduced pop vocal that is very popular right now. I spend a lot of time and effort. I've been singing my whole life, and I want to hear the texture in my voice. I want to hear the choice that I'm making, even if there's little flaws in it that are maybe unforgivable in today's industry. But that's a real human element to me. I really find that you don't really get to hear voices intimately like that in pop music right now.
With that said, I'm going to play a favorite part of mine in the last chorus of this song, just to give you an example of what she's talking about.
Yeah, you fire then reload 'cause I tell you no. No. You get me high but keep me low when you only call 'cause you want something. Yeah, you fire then reload 'cause I tell you no goodbye. Well, you can blame it on my cold dead heart.
So while I do appreciate, of course, some pitch correction and some smoothing and, like anyone would, a face filter, I suppose, on Instagram or something, don't overdo it or it's just fake, right? Like you want to give the essence of your sound. You are one of those producers that really helped me sound like myself, and I didn't feel like some plastic doll, if you will. So thank you.
Cold heart, cold heart, cold heart, cold heart.
So what I wanted to do was make these backing vocals a little bit more interesting by making them go behind your head. And I just accomplished that with a little bit of reverb and some panning. I just wanted to include Joliet's honest reaction to these BVs because it just feels good to hear it.
Oh, yeah. I forgot these BGVs are so fun. Those are great. Oh, yeah. They go around that's the sonic space around your head.
Sometimes it's enough that somebody has a genuine reaction to something you've done, and you don't need any sort of gratitude or thank you because it's all in the message.
6 feet under.
Is that you? That's sick. 6 feet under. Yeah. That's also necessary. Thank you for bringing the low end.
Monster.
Yeah.
So you might be curious to know what this monster thing is. It's basically a line in Joliet's lyrics where she sings this.
It takes time to see decay. You tell your friends I'm a monster.
And on top of the word monster, we wanted to make that line a little bit more dramatic and emphasize the monster part of it. Amongst other effects and things that I tried, I also had a cold one day, which made my voice very low, and I took advantage of that. And this is what that sounds like.
Monster.
And then next, I layered a heavily affected version of this same thing over the top of it.
Monster.
That's cool, but it wasn't as creepy as I wanted it to be, so I did this part as well.
Monster.
And when you layer these three monsters on top of the main vocals, this is what you get.
It takes time to see decay. You tell your friends I'm a
Monster.
And then the producer and me kicked in, and I felt that I wanted a Vincent Price sinister laugh, sort of like Thriller or something. But ultimately, Joliet vetoed this. She liked the idea, but wanted it to be a little different. Here's what she did. And this is what it sounds like in context, all mixed together.
I'm a monster. Still let you take my breath away.
I was real proud of that line, and I wanted to be real clear. I still let you take my breath away. As in, you're choking me. I really like to be literal with a lot of these sound effects. I thought that was really fun. As a singer, if I'm trying to have fun singing this song, then the lyric has to sit right in my mouth, as well as that melody in my particular vocal range or whatever. Like, that is so important and vital. I'm not even talking about what the word means. I'm talking about how it actually feels to sing it. So you give me high, but keep me low when you like the high. Can I put a little vocal fry on that?
Just in case you missed it, Joliet said, "Can I put a little vocal fry on that?"
Yeah, vocal fry.
This is a new term for me, and I only learned about it while recording this conversation with Joliet. Apparently, what a vocal fry is on certain vowels like I's and O's, you can squeeze your larynx together to make your voice sort of crack as you sing. I asked Joliet to give me some examples of what a fry versus no fry actually sounds like. And here's what those sound like. First up is no fry.
Oh, you give me high, but keep me low when you.
And here's with a vocal fry.
You give me high, but keep me low when you.
So this is actually kind of exciting for me because I learned something new about vocal production that I can use with Joliet in the future and other artists. She continues with some more vocal explanations.
So there's like a vibrato that you can do. High. But if you just squish it a little bit, high. I is a fun vowel to do that with. Keep me low. There's something about playing with that texture and playing with that vibe and that feeling in my mouth. I know that's weird.
It's actually not weird, to me at least. If it's weird to you, I would like to know in any sort of comment area where you're listening. And if there's no comments available where you're listening, you can head over to the Instagram page for the podcast. You can find the Instagram handle in the description of this episode. That's it for this episode. However, before we play the full track, I'm going to leave you with something Joliet said in our conversation that actually kind of moved me, and I think it might move you too.
My purpose for all of this is just to make myself happy. Music is therapy. Music is joy. Sometimes the deepest depression to help you process and get through the shit in your life. I need it. It's a lifeline for me, and finding people to work with like Kevin makes all of that possible and basically helps me make it through life. So that's why I write, that's why I sing, that's why I record.
And right there, that's the point of me doing this podcast. When a singer performs in front of you, you immediately see the value in what they're doing. You feel the effect that it has on you. And as AI becomes much more normalized in the music world, artists, singers, painters, guitarists, drummers, bands, doesn't matter, their value is just going to go up. And with that said, let's play the full track of Blame It on My Cold Dead Heart.
Ooh, you get me high but keep me low when you only call 'cause you want something. Oh yeah, you fire then reload 'cause I tell you no goodbye, yeah. Well, you can blame it on my. You take your time to push me down. Feel so alive in the moment. Weak in the knees, can't touch the ground. Don't realize that I'm going 6 feet under. 6 feet under. 6 feet under. 6 feet under. It takes time to see the decay. You tell your friends I'm a monster. Still let you take my breath away. Oh, I think hell's getting hotter. 6 feet under. Ooh, you get me high but keep me low. And you only call 'cause you want something. Yeah, you fire and reload 'cause I tell you no goodbye. Well, you can blame it on my cold dead heart. My cold dead heart. My cold dead heart. My cold dead heart. If I die before I wake, I guess you'll get what you wanted. But I have to live with my mistakes. Until you make a martyr of me, I'll tell everybody. You get me high but keep me low. Yeah, you only call 'cause you want something. Yeah, you fire then reload 'cause I tell you no, 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 no. You get me high but keep me low. And you only call 'cause you want something. Yeah, you fire then reload 'cause I tell you no goodbye. Well, you can blame it on my cold dead heart. My cold dead heart. My cold dead heart. My cold dead heart.
Man, this is a good song. You ever come out of a song and you're just like, that's as close to perfect as I think I can get on this side of heaven. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we did a good job.
The Act of Doing is recorded, produced, and mixed by me, Kevin Skaggs. The theme music is written, recorded, and produced by me as well. All music within the episode is used with permission from the creators and writers, Joliet4 and me, Kevin Skaggs, with the exception of the song The Time Is Now by Moloko, which is under the intention of commentary and Creative Commons. Blame It on My Cold Dead Heart was written by Joliet4 and me, Kevin Skaggs. Production by Joliet4 and me, Kevin Skaggs. Mixed by me as well. Mastering by Becker Mastering in Pasadena, California. And finally, this has been episode 3 of The Act of Doing in Series 1. Keep an eye on this spot. We're going to have more episodes to come in the future.